What is the next step for the Lady Rebels? We asked Coach Yo herself.
You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Ole Miss podcast, the most watched Ole Miss podcast around. I am your host, Steven Willis, a 10-year veteran member of the national media with Yahoo Sports and a former Ole Miss staff member. Today, Coach Yo joins the program to talk about what is next for Ole Miss basketball, an overview of some of the talent on the team, coaching internationally, quarters versus halves. She talks about it all. Let's get started. This is Coach Yo. Coach Yo from the Ole Miss Rebels women's basketball team joining us. I am very excited because the Lady Rebels have made the NCAA tournament each of the last 4 years. They've gone to the Sweet 16 2 out of the last 3 years. My question to you is, what is the next step for this basketball team?
Well, when we first started, you know how tough it was in the beginning. Steve. So now that we have established ourselves as a legitimate program, I get that question often, like, what's next? What's next? Um, it's just to continue to try to get where we ultimately want to go, and that's winning a national championship. But Sweet 16, people hear it, and sometimes you can get like we've gone there 2 out of the 3 years, so then they're like, oh, okay, what's next? I just want to remind everybody that that means that there are 16 teams remaining out of 356 teams in the Division One. 16 teams left standing. So that in itself is a big feat. But obviously, our team, Team 51, they want to win championships, and that's what we sell when we recruit for people to come to Ole Miss, and that's the expectation.
Yeah, and Van Chancellor might have gone a little bit farther with when he had Jennifer Gillum and Peggy Gillum. I'm not sure about that. That was a little bit before my time. I know
Yeah,
that Carol Ross was able to get there with Armini Price to the Elite
yeah,
Eight.
yeah.
So, that is obviously the next step of what's going on. And the way that you get there is through recruiting. And you are honestly, in my opinion, the portal queen. If Lane Kiffin is the portal king, you are the portal queen, and you had the number 2 transfer portal class,
Mhm.
including a Naismith midseason nominee in Cotie McMahon.
Yeah.
Talk about that group and what they bring to your basketball team, and if it might look a little bit different this
Yeah.
season than it did.
Yeah, well, this is probably my most talented team on paper, for sure, and that is the support of our supporters, and then obviously our administration. But on the football side, Steve, right now, like, you gotta have money, so our supporters really stepped up and contributed to the Growth Collective, and that allowed us to go out and bring in the best recruiting class that we've had here. Um, as from a historic perspective, when Van coached, there wasn't 64 teams. It was a different format from getting to the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight. So really, with this format, this was the first time, and I definitely want to be a part of that group that has gone to Elite Eight. I look at it every day. I kept it up in our practice facility just so that myself and everybody else can be reminded. But on paper, this is our most talented team. They are unique, different. We, like you said, we got star power in Cotie, and then we have the Big 12 leading scorer. We have compromised 172 starts from last season, so we got a lot of talent and a lot of personality. So it should be fun.
Yeah, it should be really interesting. One question that I have moving into it, you signed one high school senior,
Yeah.
one high school recruit, but it was the South Carolina Player of the Year from Columbia, South Carolina. Everybody that is even a sports fan. So you don't even have to be a women's basketball fan,
Right.
knows about the South Carolina Gamecocks.
Yeah.
Tell me about that recruitment and how you were able to pull that off.
Well, we kind of bet on Lauren early, so we offered her going into her sophomore year. So we jumped on it. Now South Carolina came in at the end, and I was sweating bullets when they ended up offering her because that's hometown and but we kind of snuck in the wee hours of the night and got that done and even Dawn texted me once we got her, like, "Hey, that's a great get." So really excited to have her. She's dynamic.
Now you do have some players coming back, and
Yep.
I'm probably going to butcher this name, but Sira Thienou, I think that is
Yep. You got it
correct.
right. Yep.
Um, came in. She's from Mali.
Yep.
She was a breakout performer last season.
Hmm.
Brantley Sanderson, who constantly covers women's basketball for me, is like, "Hey, Ole Miss has something here,
Yeah.
and you need to pay attention to her." Talk about her game a little bit and what she is going to bring to the table this year, as opposed to what she did last year.
Yeah, Sira is definitely explosive player. She really put in some work during this off season and came back looking like she's ready to have a really strong sophomore campaign. So I'm excited about her. When we got her, we did not expect her to be as impactful as soon as she has. So it was a pleasant surprise. And we had to really work hard to keep her, not because of her, just outside people trying to get in her ear and her crew's air. And even though she wasn't in the portal, but this young lady is hungry. She has a vision for what she wants to accomplish. She is committed to me and this program, and we expect her to have a really strong sophomore season. She's a future pro player.
All right, when we come back, we will go over halves versus quarters and talk about the international game as well with Coach Yo. But first, I want to let you know that summer sports are in full swings, and whether you're all about baseball under the lights or golf on the green or high stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game even more exciting. You're already following the action. Why not make it a little bit more thrilling? With FanDuel, you can get in on the game while your friends are getting sunburned at the beach. I've been using FanDuel to track my favorite matchups, and the app keeps it fresh with new daily promotions and fun way to bet. It's easy to use, fast to pay out, and even makes the regular season game feel like must-watch events. If you're new to FanDuel, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if that. So we're going to change the subject real quick
Yeah.
because there's some talk in the men's game about moving to the quarter system. And if only I was like, if there's only a system in the NCAA that used quarters already that they could lean on. Talk about the
Yeah.
difference in that game and how it would affect the game over the 20-minute game.
Yeah, I mean, I love the quarters. The quarters allow you to break things down more from a substitute pattern, an analytics space. I think the men's game I understand tradition, but it's kind of archaic. Even the pros going to the four quarters, you're just able to dissect the game even more. And from a mental perspective, your players see 10 minutes versus 20. They understand the urgency of completing a quarter strong, starting a quarter strong. I just think when you have 20 minutes, you have to convince them that you have to kind of break it up into sections and where we don't. I think the men's game really, I would love to see the men's game even adopt advancing the ball after timeouts. Coaches never get to show their X and O skill because they got to go full court. And, I hate that for them because that's when, usually in practice, is when coaches get to do the most coaching. During the game, the players have to play, but you have those in the game situations where coaches can kind of show their skill a little bit more. And so hopefully they go to the four quarters. That's the advantage that I think comes with it.
Yeah, I think it's weird because it makes sense to go to quarters because I
Yeah.
think the men's game is the only one that is on the half system, and at every level else they play quarters.
Yeah, I mean, FIBA,
Mhm.
on the European side, everyone does it. So, I mean, they're just holding on to it. But I am grateful that we are at the four-quarter system because the things that we're able to do strategically, we weren't able to do with the 20-minute halves.
Now, you also do some work back in your home country,
Yep.
in the Bahamas as the
Yeah.
national team. What is it like coaching international basketball as opposed to the U.S. college game?
Yeah, the international, well, it depends because I coach with the men too. So
Mhm.
I enjoy coaching NBA players. The men's game is different because everybody on the men's game wants to go to the NBA. They think they're going to be NBA players. And so they come in and they work and they leave. On the women's side, it's a little bit more of you have to worry a little bit more about, emotions and that kind of stuff. Whereas versus the men, uh, I enjoy coaching it because I was like the big sister auntie on the team.
Mm.
And on the women's side, I'm more of a mom figure, that kind of stuff. But on the international scene, the game's way faster, 24-second shot clock. The rules are a little bit different with FIBA basketball. And then you get to coach a variety of players because I'm the senior team. So sometimes, when I was younger and I was coaching, I had players older than me. So now I'm in my 40s. I'll probably be the oldest, but I really enjoy going against other countries because they have a different system, a different style, and as much as I get to work on my craft in the off season. I enjoy, learning from them, learning different styles and systems. And then lastly, what I like about it is you don't have a lot of time. So you have to install and implement your stuff in like 2 weeks. And so that's fun. And it teaches you that really less is more. Let the players play, kind of just coach the game, and talent usually is the main factor when it comes to wins and losses.
Yeah, and Nassau is also home to probably the fastest lazy river in recorded history at Atlantis. I actually sprained both ankles because I fell out of my inner tube trying to get
No
back in.
way.
Yeah, it was, yes, it sprained both ankles.
have you
Nearly
been
ruined the
to
whole vacation.
have you been to Bahama too? They have one as well.
I have not been there.
Yeah, but
I
The
mhm.
Atlantis River, lazy river, it's pretty aggressive.
Yeah,
Like you gotta hold on.
it's one of those things where if you are not an athletic person, I almost
Yeah.
recommend that you don't mess with
Yeah,
it and do
don't
the
mess.
other
Don't.
stuff. Yeah, yeah, it's one of those things. All right, so back to Ole Miss
Yeah.
Lady Rebels basketball. What message do you have for the fans going into this season?
You know what? I need our fans to just continue to support us. Every year our season ticket renewals have gone up. So we want to get fans in the stands. I mean, the women's game has definitely made an entrance. Everyone's talking about it. You got people that never talked about women's basketball. They're talking about it now. Um, I know that sports gambling, they bet on our games. We're not allowed to, but people do it. And so
Mhm.
there's a value in it. And I say, get tickets, but also come to the games. A lot of people support us and they buy tickets, but I think what's most valuable to us is having a home court advantage. Last year we thought we were going to host, and I knew people would come out and support. We should have.
Mhm.
But this year we're going to try to make that where they cannot take that away from us, and so be competitive and just come out. We got Notre Dame at home that
Mhm.
got announced, so That's going to be a great one. And we just want people to come out and have butts in the seats. That's very important for us. I think our players deserve it. It creates a great atmosphere and it looks great on TV.
So, and real quick, talk about season tickets. When do they go on
Yeah.
sale and all of that as well?
I think they're on sale now. I think they're on sale, OleMiss6.com. I know a lot of people want courtside seats, but there's a wait list for that. You know, there are some people that just hold on to those things and pass them down through generations. But it's open seating. You can go to Ole Miss Tix. Please come out and support us. We want to make the pavilion one of the hardest places to play. I remember Lane used to talk about it. It made a difference when fans started coming. Chris Baird talks about it, and now, and I've always been talking about it, but we have a product that is worth coming to see. And if you come to a game and you don't enjoy it, you can come and get your money back from me. That's a guarantee because I'm that confident that you'll come and enjoy our product.
Okay, and real quick before I let you go, there's one
Yeah.
question I forgot to ask. You used to have the motto "We defend." That was
Yeah.
the motto a couple of years
Yeah.
back. We defend. As the talent level has risen, is it more balanced, or are you still having that same mindset? Does it all start on the
Yeah.
defensive end like Rod Barnes at Ole Miss did?
Yeah, of course. I mean, our philosophy is to dictate and disrupt. That's something that we do. It's nationally known, and that gives us more possessions on the offensive end. Like I said, this is our most talented team. We got a couple pro prospects on here already on draft boards, you know, and we got a lot of talent. Scoring, we've had, let's see, 4 workouts. We're not going to struggle scoring, y'all. We're not going to struggle scoring, but we want to win championships, and I think you gotta get stops first and then score and be efficient on the offensive end, and we plan on doing both.
All right, Coach Yo, thank you very much for
Thank
coming
you.
on the
Thanks for having
show.
me on the show. I
No
feel
problem.
honored.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I feel like I've made it. I've had Chris Beard last week, you this week.
Yeah,
I
you're
don't
on
know
a
who's going to be
roll.
next. Yeah, I don't know who will be next week, but we'll see.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your go-to source for Ole Miss sports, and thank you for Coach Yo for giving us the time to do this interview. Thank you very much for that. We pride ourselves on offering the most comprehensive perspectives on Ole Miss sports, and we're the front door of the university. Your support means the world to us. For your second listen, check out the Portal Show. Brian Smith has the latest rumors, portal entries, and signings. Be the most informed fan on all the rapid changes around college sports. Find the Portal on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Hotty toddy, everyone. And remember, analytics is just the old English word that means bad football. We'll see you tomorrow.